Hey everybody, how you doing, my friends? And thanks for being here. A really quick video, hope I can do this really fast. But I wanted to get another one out there to you. I had just a thought in mind in anticipation of tomorrow being the anniversary of John Lennon's birth, October 9th. I thought I would just post a quick video tonight so you'd have something to watch. I don't expect to get a ton of hits on this video because it's kind of very band specific, so to speak, or artist specific, but it's basically to mention an artist and also to give you some recommendations, as I like to do with newer music. So I'm hoping you'll follow along and see what you think. And hey, if you're inclined, please give the new music a try that I'm about to feature. Okay, so if you've watched any of my videos, I've never done a dedicated video to them, and I don't consider this a dedicated video to them, but you know how much I love the band Oasis. I love Oasis, and I'm the biggest Beatles fan in the world, or as big as all of you out there. I love the Beatles. I know there's been naysayers against this band from back in the day. They kind of arrived big on the scene in 1994 in the United States. And they kind of took the world by storm for a couple of few years there. Very talented rock and roll band. Great songwriting by Noel Gallagher, and a little bit towards the end of their career by younger brother Liam Gallagher. And I just love this band. Yes, I know they could be snotty, and they were always feuding, like the Davies brothers and the Everly brothers were feuding there for... The Gallagher brothers have been in feuds and fighting, and Liam would leave the band, and Noel would leave the band, and it's some big mess. And yes, they can be kind of cocky and fresh and sarcastic, and we're going to be as big as the Beatles and all that stuff. You might remember from the mid '90s. Which, come on, if you saw my Beatles versus Drake video, you know that's never happened and never will. But take all that baloney away, scrape it all away, and just look at their they only put out 7 studio albums, but they're all great albums, folk. If you like good rock and roll, Beatlesque styled rock and roll, you should really like Oasis. I think you could get into, at least out of their 7 albums, at least 2 or 3 of them I think you could find would be very appealing to you if you gave them a chance. Here's their first one. I'm just going to go through the 7 quick because this video is really not so much to feature them, but some new music. Definitely Maybe came out in 1994. It was a big smash. Okay. 1995, they came out with What's the Story, Morning Glory. This is probably their biggest artistic and commercial peak. When this album came out, Wonderwall is on here, and Champagne Supernova, and Don't Look Back in Anger, and again, there's a couple of hits on this one too, the first one, but this is the big commercial one. This one started the ball rolling, and then this one came and sold in the millions. Now, a couple of years, 1 or 2, I think it was a little over a year later, they put out this compilation disc called The Master Plan, and it brought together all their B-sides and things of that nature from their singles, and it's a great little album on its own, believe it or not. It's the 8th one, I'll say. There's only 7 official studio. This would be number 8 if you want to count it. Really not an official release per se, but every song on here was never released on a full album before, so I like it. I think it's great. Master Plan. 1997, they released Be Here Now. Okay. Be Here Now. A couple of hits on here as well. This continued the trend of their popularity. It sold very well. But the tide was starting to turn a little bit at this point in 1997. Commercially, things were starting to wane a little bit. For many different reasons, which I'm not going to get into here. Let me just say that, folks, as I show you all these, in my book, there's not a bad album here. They're all great albums. Like I say, push aside the negativity and all the bad vibes you've heard about the band, and they're as good as they think they're going to be, as good as the Beatles. Put all that aside. We know that's a bunch of baloney. Just listen to the music. They're great, great little rock and roll albums, and they're a great band as far as I'm concerned. And that's what I care about. The music is what's important. Oasis, Standing on the Shoulder of Giants, came out in 1999. Again, not as commercially successful as the first 3, but it's still a good album, folks. I really like this one. 2002, they bounced back with Heathen Chemistry. Heathen Chemistry. All right. Again, not as commercially successful as the early ones, but there's some really great stuff on here. I mean, like I said, I like all their albums. 2005, they came out with Don't Believe the Truth. All right. And I saw this tour. This was the first time I saw Oasis. I saw them in the greater Boston area in 2005, and it was one of the best, loudest, but it was one of the best rock and roll shows I've ever seen. And man, they sold out the place. They sold it out. 4 years later, things were starting to change. The band, personnel changes and whatnot had been going on for years, but the two brothers were starting to butt heads a little more by this period. So a few years after Don't Believe the Truth, they came out with Dig Out Your Soul, their final studio album. Dig Out Your Soul. Recorded at Abbey Road, I might add, too. This was recorded at Abbey Road Studios, and I also saw this tour. This was the second time I saw Oasis in 2009, and it was at the world-famous Madison Square Garden in New York City, and it was sold out, folks, and people were going nuts. People loved it. I'm telling you, this band has legs. You know, they may not be commercially in the top 40 anymore and all that stuff, but hey, is any good rock and roll in the top 40 anymore? I think not. But boy, they drew in the fans that night. But that's not what this is all about. I just mentioned Oasis because I love their 7 main studio albums. They're one of my favorites. I recommend you check out some Oasis. Maybe someday I'll do a dedicated video to them as a band and talk a little more detail about their music and whatnot. But I'm really focusing on Oasis broke up back in 2009. You know, after this tour and album, Dig Out Your Soul, 2009, they were done. The two brothers can't stand each other now, from what I understand. I don't even think they're speaking. But Liam Gallagher and Noel, the two brothers, both put out solo stuff. Now, Noel's project has always been called Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. I don't really care for their music. It's not my bag, okay? The first album was okay, but I'm really not into the high-flying birds. Not my thing. And you would think Noel would have the most success as a solo artist because he was the main songwriter for all the years, 15 years Oasis were together. And Liam only wrote a few songs in the last few albums. So you would think, oh, Liam, he's gonna squander, he's gonna flounder when he's on his own, and he's not floundering, folks. He worked with a band called Beady Eye, which was kind of the remaining members of Oasis after he broke from his brother, and they put out a couple of pretty good albums. Not something I would be standing on the hills raving about, but they were good albums. And and don't forget the last 2 Oasis albums. I forgot to mention Zach Starkey was their drummer, and I got to see Zach live with them when I saw them live. Ringo's son was their drummer, so there you go. Anyway, a couple of years ago, 2017, Beady Eye's over, and Liam puts out Liam Gallagher, As You Were. And here it is. Folks, this is a fantastic rock album. Check it out. I got to give this guy credit for not being the main songwriter of Oasis. And Noel puts out Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, which is kind of, I don't really care for it between you and I. So I wasn't expecting much from Liam. Beady Eye was okay. I like their 2 albums. But man, his first solo album a couple of years ago, fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Folks, check it out. Liam Gallagher, As You Were, 2017. Great album. Love it. 2 years go by, and just a few weeks ago, he releases Liam Gallagher, Why Me? Why Not? As you see, I love this one so much. What's back there? I have the vinyl. New album, including the song Shockwave, which is a great rock song, folks. This is Liam's new one, and he's continuing the trend with this one. Great, great stuff. I'm telling you. Not power pop. Okay, no. You know what a power pop guy I am. I love power pop. This is not power pop. This is just cool, straight-ahead, modern rock and roll, and it's great, folks. Great, great, great. Please, check out this new one. I mean, if you can, check out As You Were as well, but certainly this new one, I love a little bit more. I love both of them, This one I love, but this one just a tad little better, you know? And I love it so much that I had to get the vinyl. And it's just something I had to do. And I haven't listened to it yet on the vinyl. I just got it in, as a matter of fact. But I've been listening to this thing over and over again on CD. And folks, it's fabulous. So please, check out Liam Gallagher. Why me? Why not? He's a great little solo rock and roll artist, folks. Former Oasis lead singer. Check it out. I think you'll love it. Okay, that's it for me. I just want to give you those 2 recommendations. Check out those 2 albums. And hopefully down the road I will do a little Oasis dedicated video. And until then, God bless you all. Take care. And be on the lookout the next day or so for my John Lennon birthday tribute. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.